Hello, hello, hello from Los Cabos, Mexico. Everyone, we don't have Wi-Fi here in Mexico, so I'm currently on my phone's hotspot. We're gonna try to make best with what I have to work with, but the good thing is I'll be able to go live for the next 4 days every day. The difference is these will be pop-up lives, so I can't really promise the time. There is a 3-hour time difference, so hopefully we can all adjust and make do while I am here in Mexico. So when it comes to pitching yourself to your clients, remember that number one, you are the expert, right? So you absolutely understand how crucial social media management is for your client's business. You understand the importance of staying visible and relevant online. You totally get that you need to be in front of your audience faces. On social, if you don't post it, you weren't there. If you don't post it, it doesn't matter. If you don't post it, it's not real. And so the biggest thing is that we want to remind our leads and our clients and our potential clients why it is so important to be on social and to show up consistently and to be sure to not only promote but to build community online. It's easier to make more sales if life happens again, just like COVID-19. If you already have an audience, if you already have an email list, if you're already showing up online consistently, making sales and anything that happens outside in the real world should not affect your business. And this is what you really need to get your potential customers or clients to understand. And as social media managers, our main priority is to make sure that we can take this brick and mortar business, we can take these products and these services, and we can highlight these businesses on social. Our job is to bring the business in the digital space, and we're not talking about the metaverse. Our job is to bring these businesses in the digital space and to make sure that we're getting them in front of the right people. And the right people is their target audience, who they want to sell to, right? And so when we talk about this, there is a big opportunity within that onboarding process to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So first things first. Let's just say I'm out at dinner, I meet someone and I find out that they run a business. They have an online business, maybe a brick and mortar, maybe a mom and pop shop. They have some type of service. We can use my husband's business for an example. He does taxes. I would say, hey, do you have a strong social media presence online? If they say yes, awesome. Who's running your content, if you don't mind me asking? They answer that question. If they say no, then this is where you come in and you ask, why not? Do you understand how many people you can get in front of online without any ad budget? The beauty of social media is that you're able to get in front of the entire world, right? With no money down. You can literally show up online and you can do your thing without any money. And this is why I love social media, because there's a difference between you showing up in a room in your local city and you actually posting and your content getting pushed in front of hundreds and thousands of people. And this is why businesses need to be on social, correct? I think the problem is a lot of social media managers go in so money hungry, but you actually need to figure out your process. You actually need to start serving different industries to figure out which industry do you actually want to serve the most. I realized early on, I absolutely love the doctor's offices, the orthodontist offices, the small pediatricians. I love the med spas. I like service-based businesses. I like being able to go into an office, capture all the content, get that storyline together, and then repurpose all of that material on social. But if you're so picky in the beginning and you're picking and choosing and you're saying your rate is $1,000 a month because that's what you heard on TikTok, you're never going to be able to grow your business. This is also why I say don't quit your day job, right? The whole point of digital marketing is for you to match your salary, for you to grow your clientele, for you to make an extra stream of income. In the beginning, I am not telling you to quit your job, open up a social media marketing agency, go all in, better yourself. I'm not doing it. We live in the real world and we live in America. One income is too close to none. Okay? Now, let's just say they have a budget, their business is making money, and they want to go ahead and proceed with the process of hiring you. This is awesome, right? So, this is when you say, okay, I'll email you a questionnaire. After that, we can get started. In that questionnaire, and if anybody is new and just showing up, hello from Mexico, I'm here in Los Cabos. We are going live every day for the next 4 days while I'm here. Pop-up lives. I don't know the time. I can't promise you that. All right. So this is what the questionnaire is going to say when you email them. Remember, this is when you're first starting out as a social media manager. You don't have the budget to invest in CRM platforms. Okay. First things first. Depending on the budget, right? You can create content Monday through Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Monday through Sunday. Like, you actually have to figure out with this budget, how many days am I willing to commit? The bigger the budget, the more days you're going to post. The smaller the budget, you're at least posting 3 times a week. Okay? So the first things first, you let them know when you are going to be posting on their platforms. Then you ask them for their login information on all platforms, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You ask them for their login credentials. Next thing, you ask them what are their brand colors, if they have any. You know, for some companies, they use particular brands, and you want to make sure as you're posting, you're sticking to their brand colors, right? Cool. Next thing, you want to ask them about the actual story of the company. How long have you been running this business? What made you get started? Who came up with the name of the company? Is there a story behind why you started this business? Is this a Black-owned company? Were you birthed during COVID? Do you have next day shipping? What are some perks? Do you have any upcoming sales going on or promotions going on? Why should new audiences or new customers or new leads or new followers, what sets you apart from other brands? That last question is, tell me anything you can about the staff and the CEO. Does your brand mean anything? Is there any significance? Are you fighting for a cause? Is this a women-led brand? Those are very important, because when you are creating those educational posts and those promotional posts outside of selling, you can be featuring the fact that it may be a woman-led company. It may have been birthed during COVID. It may have started because of a mother struggling and wanting to take care of her family and decided to start this business. It may be a Black-owned business, which is super important, right? These are the questions you should be asking, and you add this in the email. After they send that email back to you, you have their login, you have their story, you have any highlighted facts about the brand, and then you have that important contact information. Can I get a cell phone number I can text and an email I can write to? So as you are logging into these platforms, whenever they go and they ask like for that little verification code, you can just text the number they give you, they text you back the code, you're in. But make sure you are very clear on the days you are going to be posting. Now, what I like to do is knock out all of my clients' posts for the month in one session. So I sit down for an hour and I write out the captions. You know, I try to get all of the content. And this is another thing. Are you going to be a social media manager that shows up in person, where you're serving brands in your city, where you can show up and capture content, take all of that content and plug it in their social calendar? Or are you going to be a virtual social media manager, a little more hands-off? You're giving them guidance on what to film and what to capture, but then they're going to be sending you the content via Google Drive, via email, via box, and they're sending you all of the material, and then you're going to go ahead and schedule out their content calendar. Now, if they are sending you content on their own and you're just guiding them on what to post, right? You're sharing with them examples of content. That way they have a better understanding of how they should be capturing themselves and their brand and their services and their products. This may take a little bit longer during that onboarding process, because in order for a social media manager to get started, you need the content, right? Especially if you're virtual. So what I always say is make sure you have at least 2 weeks worth of content before you get started. That way, when you spread it out, you can add some memes, you can add some polls, you can add some entertaining content, you can repost older posts, you can repurpose whatever you find or whatever they send you at a later date. But at least if you have 2 weeks worth of content, you can stretch that out inside their content calendar. Now, if you would like to take it a step further, if you're a little bit more anal, then this is when you ask them to approve the content before it gets posted. Now, for me personally, this is a nightmare. I don't really like doing this. It takes a lot of patience. There's a lot of pressure. I realized that in the past, certain clients would think that they're the expert. So as I'm showing them the content calendar that I've created, they're questioning me. They're telling me they don't like it and they don't really understand. Something may be too funny. It may be outside of their comfort zone. I need you to trust me. I need you to trust that I'm the expert. I know what I'm doing. And if you give me 30 days, I can promise you an increase in engagement and more followers. But let me work my magic. And this is why I no longer allow my clients to approve my content ahead of time. Once I posted a piece of content, you can tell me to take it down all day long. You can ask me to edit a caption. We can archive a piece of content if you don't really agree with it, or like, you know, you don't really like it, cool. But to give our client the full control of our posts, you guys know that saying, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff. That's how I feel as a social media manager. But for some of you guys, you may actually enjoy that. So maybe you do that on a weekly basis, where, and Aaliyah does this, she is our community manager here in our private Facebook group. She has our content for the week. We jump on a call. She asks for me to approve it ahead of time, and then she schedules everything out as we go. She likes to do that. Maybe for her, it gives her a sense of confidence, number one, but security that she's posting the right thing. You know, we don't have to worry about any last minute critiques or judgment at the end. So it works for her. This is all up to you. All right. So that is for the onboarding process. If you want to eliminate as much expenses as possible in the beginning, you don't have to have a fancy website. You don't need to use a CRM, right? You don't have to have some type of sales funnel. You don't need a particular platform in order to get paid. All we focus on in the beginning is building your clientele, building your experience. That way you can take that content and those brands that you've served and add it to your portfolio. And let's touch on the portfolio really quick. While I'm here in Mexico, I'm going to be re-recording how you guys should be updating your portfolio. Please keep in mind that your portfolio is your bread and your butter. In digital marketing, it's not about what school you went to. It's not about where you've worked. It's about your actual portfolio, and we call that social proof. When I was 20 years old and I went to Life Marketing, they're a small social media agency in Buckhead. I had no experience. I didn't have my degree yet, and he asked me, do you have experience? And I lied and said yes. He knew I was lying, by the way. And I told this story within the module. The first thing he said was, I want you to go home and pick 3 different brands. Create mock content for those brands, screenshot it, and send it to me. When I emailed it to him, he thought my content was good enough. He thought the photos I used, the caption I used, the custom hashtags I came up with, the storyline I used throughout the content for the month, he thought that was good enough, and he hired me. And this is why I teach this in this program. If you don't have any clients yet, that portfolio is your bread and butter. Just because no one has paid you yet for the service doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. So use some of your favorite brands to create content for them. If they were to hire you today, whether it's Sephora or Nike or a Lash Tech or a hookah lounge or a club, you can even do Playboy. How would you post for these brands? What would you post? What hashtags would you use? What bio would you type out and create for them? How would you engage with their followers? What questions would you ask? That's why the portfolio is so important. Don't skip that module. Don't skip that homework assignment. That in this course, I only ask you to do things I know for a fact will take you one step closer to landing your first client.